the impact of social media is undeniably harmful to our children.
Yeah, you said it's putting our ability to connect and influence children's life in grave jeopardy.
So this world of virtual reality and social media has divested us of what it means to be human. It is antisocial, disconnected, fake, superficial, artificial, materialistic, comparative, competitive, separatist. In every way, it is eroding what it means to be a human soul. It is teaching our children to be entitled, indulgent, instantly gratified, all the things that we should be walking away from.
And I think social media is dangerous for children at a young age. And I don't mean like I don't want to say, your children should never ever look at the internet or something like that. But, having them online and having them like live their life according to what other people like what they do or don't like what they do, it destroys your character. Wallah. Like when we teach, one of the things I have to teach young kids today, the teenagers we teach today, is having a strong character and making your own choices.
Good day, everyone. Today we'll be talking about the dark side of social media and how it's harming kids. Social media, it's everywhere. Kids are growing up in a world where Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat are a part of daily life. But what if I told you that behind the likes, the viral trends, and the filters, that there is a dark side, a side that is harming kids in many ways we never imagined? We are going to break down exactly how social media affects children's mental health, their attention span, and their safety. Let's dive in. Let's start with the biggest issue: mental health. Studies have shown that the excessive social media use is directly linked to the increased rate of anxiety, depression, and even suicidal thoughts in kids and teenagers. But why? Social media is a highlight reel. Kids see influencers traveling around the world, celebrities with flawless skin, and friends only posting their happiest moments. But what they don't see is the behind-the-scenes struggle. This creates unrealistic standards, leading to low self-esteem and body image issues. And also, the fear of missing out is real. When kids see their friends hanging out without them, or someone else getting more likes, it triggers feelings of loneliness and exclusion. And this leads to a vicious circle of constantly seeking validation online. Do you think parents are also part of this problem? You should watch this video.
I continue to be surprised at how many young children I am seeing with their own accounts on these social media apps. Kids as young as 8 are using social media more than ever. Parents, that is shocking and concerning. There is no need for children under the age of 13 to be on these social media apps when we know the damages they are currently causing to our teens right now. Think of it like this. If these social media apps were brick and mortar buildings, you would never allow your 8-year-old, your 10-year-old to go there unattended. Because it's a fucking scary, dangerous place. Remember that.
How can social media potentially impact children? Low self-esteem and negative body image issues. We live in this world of filters where there's that constant need to be perfect. Regardless of whether we achieve it or not, it can lead to cyberbullying, difficulty establishing in-person relationships. When you're so used to being behind a device or a screen, they don't have that practice to have in-person interactions. Increased anxiety. So you're constantly comparing yourself to others and you feeling that sense of FOMO. It can compromise your safety because of the anonymity of the internet and the potential for people to actually find out where you're located, overstimulation. So a lot of different social media platforms can have algorithms that can curate different content that they think that you'd be interested in. That ultimately can lead to poor time management and feeling constantly distracted.
Let's talk about the addiction factor and how it's harming kids. Ever wonder why kids can't seem to put their phones down? Social media is designed to be addictive. Every like, comment, or notification releases dopamine, the same chemical linked to drug addiction. These keeps them hooked, leading to decreased attention spans and even withdrawal symptoms when they're offline. Sleep disruption is another factor. Blue light exposure from screens tricks the brain, thinking it's still daytime, messing up with sleep patterns. Poor sleep equals lower grades, mood swings, and health issues. But here is the catch. Kids don't want to put their phones down because they feel like they're missing out. It's a very dangerous circle. Take a look at this video.
Get your children off social media. There's a massive link between social media and child depression and anxiety. There was a study that was done by JAMA Pediatrics in 2019 that found out that children who spend more than 3 hours per day on social media were substantially at risk of reporting high levels of depressive symptoms compared to those who spent less than 3 hours a day on social media. And there was another one that was done by Pew Research Center that found out that 45% of teens say that they're online almost constantly. And those teens that said that report higher levels of psychological distress. So protect your children. Take them off social media, get them outside, let them play, and let them be a child again.
Not only is social media damaging to a child on a sexual exploitation way, but it's also damaging on a chemical production way when it comes to their brain and body. Excessive use of social media and technology does create an overload and overstimulation of dopamine and serotonin that you can't get in the natural world, putting them at risk of the inability to socialize, the inability to have creativity and imagination in the natural world outside of a phone screen. Limiting the ability for them to regulate themselves on a consistent basis because they're so overloaded with dopamine, and then when they don't have it, they're depleted of it. Just like when you take drugs and it changes your brain and it overloads your body and you come off of those drugs, it is a withdrawal effect. Everything in life is a chemical exchange. So if you're constantly putting your child at risk of having too much dopamine, they will always be unsatisfied and depressed in the natural world because they can't receive the same amount of stimulation that they do from a phone screen.
The third factor we're going to talk about is cyberbullying and online predators. Bullying doesn't just happen in schools anymore. It happens online 24/7. A single mean comment can spread like wildfire, ruin a child's confidence. And unlike traditional bullying, there is no escape. It follows them home. Nowadays, predators are no longer lurking in dark alleys. They're in your child's DM, pretending to be someone they are not. According to reports, 1 in 5 kids has been approached by an online predator, and that's very terrifying. Take a look at this video.
Anywhere that a kid is online, whether it's their iPad, their phone, their gaming counselor, anywhere that they're online, there's a child predator.
So are there any safe spaces for children online?
I would say no. If you're a kid that's online, there is the possibility that you could be targeted. In 2022, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children had over 80,000 cyber tips related to the online exploitation of minors. Over 80,000.
Cyberbullying is a crazy thing that has been gaining popularity. I remember being in middle school, 10 years, 15 years ago.
I started college like 10 years ago, which is crazy.
15 years ago, having my teachers say like cyberbullying is bad and don't do this and that, but I can't even imagine the levels that it's at right now.
Kids are not just being bullied by other kids, they're being bullied by adults. I honestly would love to see the apps enforce more policies around bullying and dedicated towards that, because I even have this issue all the time with like TikTok and Instagram. I'll get these comments and I'm like, how were they even able to comment this? They're using words that shouldn't be used like in a comment. It's kind of like the social media apps problems as well. Like they need to have stricter rules.
The rise of misinformation. Not everything on social media is true, but kids often don't have the skills to tell facts from fiction. They get exposed to conspiracy theories, fake news, and dangerous trends. Ever heard of the Blackout Challenge or the Tide Pod Challenge? These were viral social media trends that put kids' lives at risk. Now, the big question is, what can be done? The first step is awareness. Parents can use screen time limit, parental control, and encourage open conversations about social media use. Secondly, digital literacy is a must in today's world. Schools need to start teaching kids how to differentiate from reliable sources and misinformation. Finally, balance is key. Encouraging hobbies that doesn't involve screens help kids to develop real-world skills and relationships. So what's the takeaway? Social media isn't evil. but it's not harmless either. Kids are growing up in an era where their self-worth is tied to likes and comments. It's now up to parents, teachers, and society to make sure that they navigate this digital world safely. Drop your comments below, and thanks for watching. Bye.